What an exciting day it is. Now, we have 1,000 users in the Facebook group Leading the Next Normal. And that is really, to me, a big achievement because there are 1,000 business leaders in there. And I just wanted to celebrate this milestone a bit. And if you are watching on a different, if you're watching on YouTube or watching somewhere else, I just want to let you know that you can click the link, I think, in the descriptions and join the group so you get more updates about this. We have different trainings in there. I go live on LinkedIn and YouTube. You get this, but make sure you are joining us in the group on Facebook because 1,000 is a pretty big milestone. I just started it, a couple months ago with my book. And so I'm proud of that. And it's great, the feedback that I'm getting from everybody around that. Now, and also what I want to do really quick is tell you before I get into the content that as a celebration for a couple of things, as a celebration for us having 1,000 users, as a celebration to give value around Mental Health Awareness Week, which I'm pretty sure it's this week, but we're going to do this next week. And because people have been asking about it, I'm going to do a very interesting, instead of going live, I'm going to do a special closed, it's going to be free, but it's going to be a closed session where I'm going to do an introduction to what's called soul-centered leadership. Now, people may know that I've founded and scaled and exited a couple enterprise software companies in California. Now I teach leadership companies like Uber and Microsoft and Salesforce. They bring me up to level up their leaders. What in between those, how I got to where I got now is I also have a very unique master's in spiritual psychology. And soul-centered leadership was really me mixing this psychology with a spiritual focus and business leadership to come up with soul-centered leadership. So now my last book, my book before that was Soul-Centered Leadership, it was an international bestseller, and it's very unique content, and not a lot of people out there are doing it. And so I'm really, I don't do it as much that often. So I figured next week I'm going to do that. And so at this same time on Thursday, that's going to be taking place. And so in the comments, you should be able to see a link to join that. You have to register for that. That's on Zoom. It will be recorded. I will have some recordings, but let me know. And if you don't do that, just send me a message so I can get you the registration. So again, it's an introduction to soul-centered leadership because a lot of people really are curious about what that is. And so we'll be doing an introduction on that. Okay, so that's all the good stuff. 1,000 leaders, soul-centered leadership coming at you next week. And if you're not spiritual or not soul-centered, that's okay. We got a bunch of other leadership stuff for you here. Now, last night I was on a panel, a leadership panel, where I did a presentation, then people asked me some questions, and I thought there were some good questions there. So I was going to bring that up to provide some good content for you here today. A couple of the questions were about, is our leaders born or are they made? Or I don't have these leadership type of skills. How do I get them? And if there's anything you leave this session with, I want you to understand that leadership skills are learned. Leadership skills are learned. You're not necessarily born with them. Yeah, some people might be born a little more of like a public speaker, or some people might have a little more charisma than other people. But at the end of the day, and I know this from my experience, all my friends are business owners, and of course I coach leaders throughout the world. And leadership is absolutely gained through learning, through being coached, through learning skills, through learning tools, having the right people around you, having the right mentors. And if you are in a leadership position, you don't feel as comfortable or as confident as you could be, you're absolutely where you're supposed to be, because it's not a natural thing. Oftentimes getting put into leadership, you have all this different responsibility, all these different things that you have to manage and deal with. You have different tasks. Sometimes you have the people that you've never met that you have to earn their trust and respect. It's a really, really difficult thing. And that's why you need to make sure you get the right support. And when I talk about the right support as a leader, you have to go out and there's a lot of things you can learn. You can learn how to run a meeting. You can learn how to hold people accountable. There's a lot of systems that you can learn. But also, and I run masterminds twice a year. Right now, I actually have 3 masterminds going on right now. And probably in the second half of the year, I'll do another batch. I have one business leader, I have one business owner, one key exec, and then I'm doing one for a company. And then I'll probably do something similar. So watch out for it if you're interested. But what I focus on a lot is the mindset, because to me, the leadership mindset is the most important thing. And again, there's a difference between management and leadership. Management is managing things, making sure that all the pieces are in the right place. But leadership is really showing up with a presence, about having that calm yet powerful presence about yourself. It's about having confidence, not arrogance, but confidence, moving out of that imposter syndrome into that really strong place. And so if you don't have that right now and you're getting into leadership or you get some of the self-doubt, that's okay. Everybody does that. And you need to look for places where you can invest in your leadership. That is really one thing that you need to do. It was a testing event yesterday for software testers. And so the software testers, they would invest in learning different software techniques, testing techniques. And now when you're in leadership, so whatever you came out of, if you learned marketing or sales and you read sales books and marketing books or took courses on that, well, now it's time to do the same with your leadership. It doesn't happen by accident. It happens by really, really working hard. Another sort of interesting question is obviously, well, some people know, not obviously, some people know that I started as a programmer and I'm a bit introverted. Yeah, I know I talk a lot and you probably see me on these videos and stuff. And I think I'm fairly well presented, but I am an introvert. And they were asking is do you ever move out of being an introvert? Because I mentioned that, and obviously a lot of software testers are introverts. And, first of all, I think sometimes people get shyness and introverted. They think of them the same thing, but they're actually 2 different things, right? Because what introverted means is that you get drained by being around people. I don't like people. No, I'm just joking. But basically, like if I'm at a lot of networking events or I'm at a big conference or even when I'm speaking or training, that drains me. I'm really, really tired. My wife, she's an amazing extrovert. So she could be out around people at dinner parties or whatever. And she'd be like, I want to stay out. I want to keep being around people. And I'm like, oh my gosh, honey, I'm so tired. So we're a bit opposite. And just the same, I could stay in the house all day, just puttering around, messing around with myself. And that drives her nuts. So it's between an introvert and an extrovert. And I don't think you change a lot over your life. You can adapt a bit. But that's why a lot of extroverts have been having so much issue here over lockdown, because they miss the camaraderie and they miss the interaction. A lot of introverts have actually really, really thrive because they're like, look, nobody's bugging me. I'm in my house, I'm doing my work, right? And then on the other side is shyness. And yes, you do overcome shyness. I mean, and shyness honestly can be a bit of an insecurity because you're afraid to put yourself out there. You're afraid to speak up. And so, and to me, if you see me in this presentation, there's shyness and there's arrogance. And both come from insecurity. But in the middle is confidence. And confidence is different than arrogance. And confidence is often about being quiet, but having that quiet power, or just saying a few words, but really, really strong, powerful words. And confidence is built out of having really great self-esteem. And so as a leader, you really want to build up your confidence. You need to build up your self-esteem because you need to hold people accountable. You need to take on this massive responsibility. And that's really where resilience comes from. It comes from a strong sense of self, a strong sense of self-esteem. All right, everybody, that is Michael. Let me see if I have any chat thingy, whatever you call it here. I don't even know where to look on these things. So I got all these windows open. But anyway, I hope you got value out of this. Every week I do a post in the group. So if you're not part of the post group yet, throw something in the, so if you're not part of the group, join the group. Every Tuesday I ask for questions so that whatever I deliver here can be relevant to you. So if you have issues on your leadership, questions you want answered, put them in the group. Or honestly, if you're not in the Facebook group, you're not on Facebook, just send them to me on LinkedIn or YouTube or whatever, and I will answer them right now. So again, we're here every Thursday, but next Thursday is special. I'm going to do the introduction to soul-centered leadership, the intro, the invite. You have to register for that on Zoom. It should be in the comments there. So go sign up for it. It's going to be really interesting because, again, it's where spiritual psychology meets business leadership. And that's next Thursday at 4 p.m. UK time. Click on the link, register. It's going to be on Zoom. I'm going to take questions and all those things. Debbie Smart, thank you so much, Debbie. Nice to see you on LinkedIn. What's great, I'm glad I got your your message here, Debbie, because I'm on this thing called Restream. What's really weird is on LinkedIn, when people leave comments, I go back to them, I can't read them or comment to them. So Debbie, nice to see you. Thanks for the kind words. And again, we will see you. If you're interested in soul-centered leadership, sign up, and we will see you next Thursday. Otherwise, we'll see you the Thursday after that on these normal lives. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.